just to be honest with yourself and ask people when you need help. Like I've worked with Providence, I've worked with Shift MMA, I've worked with Martin Brown, who's one of my coaches there. And a lot of times I just say like, hey, I'm struggling. I don't really know what to do here. This is really hard for me. And they just give me honest feedback and it gives me something to work off of.
The GenTech Podcast discussing business, investing, and marketing.
Hey guys, welcome back to the GenTech Podcast, bringing you valuable and inspirational discussion from top business owners. Today we have on Dr. Charlie Keenan. He is the founder of Rewire Total Body Experience, which is a physical therapy company. So I'm really excited to talk to him about how he uses social media in his company, his interest that brought him to this very interesting idea, and more. So Charlie, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So first, I just want to, get to know you and go a little bit more deep into your background. I know that Rewire is a Tampa-based company, but are you originally from Tampa?
No, I'm not originally from Tampa. I'm actually from Steubenville, Ohio. It's a small city on the Ohio River. We're kind of like right in that tri-state area with West Virginia and Pennsylvania.
So what brought you down to Tampa?
The weather's a lot better. I was originally in school at Kent State, and it was very cold up in Ohio, and then I just always wanted to come down south. So that's all I applied to in grad school. I got into Gannon University down here and loved Tampa, so I stuck around.
So what were your interests, maybe even when you were younger? Like, did you always know that you wanted to be a doctor?
No, I really didn't have any idea. I was big in sports when I was younger. I always wrestled, played football. The first experience I had with physical therapy, my grandfather was in a hospital, and they were people that just kind of came in and saw him every day, and he actually got to know his physical therapist. So that was kind of the first thing that piqued my interest in PT. It was more of like a personalized doctor than your just 15-minute routines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And, it does really go hand in hand with sports and everything. So I can definitely see how you would get into that. So when you first went into undergrad, did you go right into studying physical therapy?
No, I actually did exercise science, which had a pre-physical therapy, occupational therapy basis. So I did that, and then I did a minor in entrepreneurship, but I didn't really know that I wanted to do PT at that time. I just kind of wanted to study exercise science.
And that's funny that you did the minor in entrepreneurship. Did you always know that you wanted to be a business owner?
I think probably about 2 years into college was when I started the entrepreneurship minor. I was kind of head on credits, and I just wanted to see like ways that you could actually build business. I had an idea that I would like to do it, but didn't really know too many business owners, so I just wanted to kind of see how it would happen.
And how do you think that minor has prepared you for being a business owner?
I think it helped me a lot. I think a lot of business, you just have to kind of go out and take chances and see stuff for yourself. But I think just kind of developing the mindset to start thinking about ways that I could make a difference in the community and ways that I could be different with my own business was something that really helped me. They kind of inspired me to be more creative, which was a different aspect of college than usual with the science part.
So when you graduated as a doctor, did you go right into owning your own business, or did you have any other work experience?
Pretty soon after, I think I passed my boards in November, and then I opened up the company in January. But I was actually working for a company called Salis, which was like assisted living base. So I worked there kind of full-time and part-time as I started the business until it took off and I could go full-time with this.
So tell me about the steps that, you took starting your business right from the beginning.
I opened it pretty much right when I got out of school, and I got a little townhouse, and I had a downstairs laundry room that I kind of made into a PT clinic, and just had a very small space and just tried to kind of start working with friends and family, people that I knew and just could help. And I was really just taking anyone that would come in and seeing if I could help them and showing them how I could. But then I ended up taking a PT entrepreneurship class, which was very helpful, kind of organizing my systems and how to take off and how to kind of plan for the future. But like I said, I went from full-time with the assisted living to part-time as I was getting more patients, and then eventually got to full-time.
And, where did this idea, I know that you have the Rewire, it's just physical therapy, and you were talking to me about this new business venture that's super interesting, Rewire Your Workplace. So do you want to tell our audience a little bit about that, and then maybe where this idea came about? Because I mean, it's a new idea to me.
Yeah, so Rewire is actually, I kind of figured out the name while I was in grad school. We actually had a class that you could make your own business, and I was one of the people that was most interested in doing that. So I had a lot of injuries. I wrestled through college, and that's kind of how I started thinking about like rewiring the body and kind of returning to athleticism. Um, Once I got out, I kind of saw there was a bigger neuromuscular side to that, especially with contact sports. There's a lot of brain injuries, so just improving the overall mind-body connection was huge, and I saw that was kind of a missing piece in outpatient physical therapy. Um, and then over the past couple of weeks, we've launched Rewire Your Workplace, which is actually an individualized wellness program for companies. So we assess a company through our NEAT survey, and NEAT stands for nutrition, exercise, attitude, and teamwork. And once we kind of get an overview of what the company's doing well and where they're having issues, we make customized videos for the company. And then we kind of review them each month, and we ask follow-up questions and try to keep targeting what they need in the workplace and help them get an overall healthier work environment.
And especially with, work from home being so relevant right now and people really prioritizing their mental health as well as their physical health, I think that this is such an exciting work venture or business venture that I think a lot of workplaces will definitely take advantage of and should take advantage of. But um, where have you seen this idea before anywhere else, or how did you come up with this idea?
I work with a company called Brand Story Experts, and we were talking with them about just ways that they could improve their company because they work with so many other companies. So we kind of customized this survey and did it for them, and we ran all the results on them. The owner is actually my uncle, Charlie Keenan. So he kind of inspired me to do the idea, and he had launched an app for his company that all the people that work with his company work with. And we're actually a feature on the app that people can kind of add on to. So it was kind of an idea that we came up with together, and we just were trying to figure out the best way to help out all the employees and the people in the company work as a team.
And why do you think it's so important for people, especially in the workplace, to have that mind-body connection?
I think from a leadership standpoint, at the highest level, I think that you want workers that are productive, but I think you want workers that are happy. And I think those things kind of go hand in hand. So showing your workers that you really care about them really increases their understanding of why they're working for you and what the goals are. So I think the mind-body connection helps with, like, we do stress reduction techniques. We help with people's nutrition and their exercise, things like that. But we really try to help people from the start of their morning kind of get a purpose and a way that they're working that they're excited about and really get behind so that they have a really productive day.
And have you always wanted to help people? Has that kind of been an interest in your life?
Yeah, I've always coached. I think wrestling was really my main sport. I've always coached kids that were younger than me and just kind of wanted to help kids. And then I loved the assisted living facility job. I actually went back Saturday this weekend and spent my Saturday afternoon there and just hung out with all the people I used to work with. I just enjoy making people feel better, honestly.
And that's amazing. And with this business venture and owning your own company, what would you say have been maybe some of the hardest struggles or biggest challenges that you faced with owning your own company?
The hardest thing for me really is you don't have set hours. So you can tend to feel like you're not working enough or overworking. You don't really know what is enough because there's always more work to do. I think the first time I was like going on vacation, I went to see my mom, sister, and brother. We were planning on a trip, and I was like freaking out because I'm like, well, what am I going to do? The company's not going to run itself. I'm the only person here at this point. So I think it was really hard to just understand how to get that balance of it's still going to be here when you come back and you can pick up where you left off was kind of challenging at first.
That definitely is a challenge for many business owners. And I think especially like when you have your own business and you're working to expand your business right now, it's definitely a challenge hiring people and trusting other people with your business and your baby. So I can definitely see that. And you're in Tampa, and have you seen the trend of self-love and taking care of yourself and your physical and mental health. I feel like a lot of people, when they started working from home, they really realized that, they had to take care of their bodies. People were doing a lot of work in bed after COVID. Have you seen that as a trend in physical therapy?
Yeah, I think people are really, after COVID, were really kind of shocked by how much more they need to take care of themselves. They had a lot more time to themselves, where they couldn't go out and get occupied by other things. And they kind of realized that they weren't putting themselves first a lot of times. I get a lot of people post-COVID that are just kind of like, I really just want to improve my overall health and well-being. And that's really where we help a lot of people at.
And how have you been expanding your customer base? Like in the beginning, I know you said you were really utilizing your family and friends as customers, but how did you work to get Rewire the name out there?
The first place we started at, we actually worked at Orange Theory. I just kind of did a pop-up like injury screen and kind of talked to some people there. And then I've been to a couple Orange Theories since then. The Orange Theory on Northdale Mabry with Keith and Brielle, and all of them have been awesome to me. And then F45 in West Chase with Brooke and Eric have been awesome, just helping me kind of come out. We set up workshops for their community, and we'll do like lifting with low back pain or lifting with overhead shoulder pain. I believe we're going to be starting some stuff with Orange Theory soon with like running with knee pain workshops. So we do a lot of workshops and just kind of help people out for a free seminar. And then a lot of people will kind of say, that seems like some helpful stuff. I'd like to come see you. This is a issue I've been experiencing for a while. And we pick up a lot of clients like that and just word of mouth now.
Yeah, I think workshops are such a great idea to get your name out there, especially to your local community. What advice would you give to business owners who want to try to do something like that and collaborate with a local business?
I think you got to go give places a shot first. Like all of those places I went and I got a package and I worked out at, and I kind of saw how their companies work. I'm also at an MMA gym where I work with a ton of our fighters that do bare knuckle boxing. I've done some stuff at Gracie, South Tampa. So just kind of finding your niche and things that you're really interested in is big. I think there's a lot of places that have money, but I think the most important thing is finding people that you can relate to and help and really care for and want to help get back to what they love.
Definitely. And I feel like F45 and those places really do have a connection with Rewire because, these people are working out almost every day. And I feel like a lot of people don't think about recovery as much as they should because, they don't really know that they need a physical therapist until, they have an injury. But I think it's also important to know that you can still go to physical therapy before an injury. It's super important. So, and want to tell us more about that? I personally don't go to physical therapy, but why would you say that I should or another person should?
I think people should go to physical therapy if they have goals and they're not really sure how to accomplish them. Physical therapists are doctors now, and they're primarily the experts in musculoskeletal injuries, but also preventative care. So if you're saying, hey, I want to plan on doing a marathon or a triathlon and you've never done anything like that, it's important to maybe have a run analysis done and get into how do we progress yourself from 1 mile a day to 26 miles. We have a lot of guys that fight that are in camp and they're cutting their weight and they want to know how to lift so that they keep their power while they're still cutting the weight and how they don't overtrain. So I think just understanding how to train is really important as well as recover. And I think that's something that's very helpful that we do.
And I know you said that you do these workshops with these local gyms, and how important do you think it is to be involved in your local community?
I think it's huge. I mean, that's really the people that are going to support you most. You can obviously do a lot of business online, and you can, I think that's bigger than ever right now. But me personally, I just love face-to-face interaction, and I like meeting people in person and really getting to know them. And I think just Tampa's a great community. Since I've been down here, I've probably had 4 or 5 friends move here. It's just a great place that's really growing. So I think just kind of getting out and getting to know people and connecting with people, it's not really as big of a place as you would think. A lot of people do know each other. So I think just getting to know the people around here has been really helpful, and they're really nice people around here.
And what's the most important lesson you think that you've learned over this career? I know you're still at the beginning and you're still growing, but what are some lessons that you can share with our listeners?
I think really is just like kind of be a human. Like you're not going to do everything perfect. You don't have all the answers. Just telling people sometimes like, I don't know, but I'll get back to you on that is probably one of the most helpful things that I've learned, because a lot of times when I first started, if someone would come to me and I didn't know something right away, I would get very nervous and think like, well, someone else has the answer. But as I'm really dedicated to helping my patients. So a lot of times I would just say, like, let me look at this for a night and read some articles and look at some videos and stuff like that. And then we can plan a phone call and kind of talk, and just understanding that there's always more learning to do and ways that you can help people, but you got to be open to saying, I don't know, and looking for help and asking people.
And I love that you say there's more learning to do. I completely agree. And how do you continue to learn as a business owner? Do you have any courses that you take, or, watch videos online? How do you continue to keep growing your education?
Yeah, I watch a lot of videos online. Like, I was looking at Andrew Huberman's website this morning, and Andy Gallopin's website. But from a business standpoint, I actually work with Providence Consulting Group right now, which is Josh Hibbert and Jenna Schwartz. I believe she was on here a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
So I think just connecting with people that have already done things, like Josh had worked with 80 something physical therapy companies, and Jenna's mom's a PT and she's done a ton of marketing stuff. So just going to people that have that experience and talking to them is really helpful. Just saying, hey, here's where I'm at. Here's what I really need help with, and being open and honest with people. People will help you if you just kind of be truthful with them.
I completely agree. I think business coaching is such a great tool for business owners to, really utilize, because these coaches have been through it. They've seen this stuff, and they can really give you great advice that, is super helpful, because instead of like making those mistakes or just kind of like going along and learning, you don't have to learn as you go anymore. You really can utilize these coaches.
100%.
Mm-hmm. So I know that owning a business is so much work, and it can definitely be tolling on anyone. How do you continue to create motivation and, stay really motivated?
It's really not hard to stay motivated to help people, because I think there's always more people that need help. Anytime I'm working with someone, they usually come to me for a reason, and it may be, hey, my ankle hurts, but it's usually like, what is that preventing you from doing? And sometimes it's preventing them from running, which is preventing them from losing weight, which is preventing them from feeling comfortable. So I think there's always more to kind of dig into, and ways that we can really help people. I think it can be exhausting to kind of work day in and day out by appointment. But I do kind of have a good work-life balance with, I train MMA, I go by myself to the gym a couple times a week. I go on rollerblades with my girlfriend. We go to the beach. I try to take time off of work and do things that are completely separate, just to kind of get my space away from work, just doing things that I enjoy.
Yes, having that balance is definitely super important, especially for business owners. And what skills do you think would say you found vital to your career, and you would say that are super important to have as an entrepreneur and a business owner?
Well, I think in terms of being an entrepreneur, you have to be persistent and very consistent with things. I think you have to have a lot of faith that things are going to work out. They don't always go in a straight line. There's a lot of ups and downs. You can have a busy week where you think I'm going to be a millionaire, and another week where you think I'm going to go out of business. So I think just kind of sticking the course and making kind of short-term and long-term goals, having a checklist, just here's what I need to get done today. Here's what I need to get done this week. A lot of times when you just keep working and keep your head down, you look back 3 months later and you're like, wow, a lot of stuff has really happened. And day to day, you really don't see that. So just being consistent with everything is huge.
I completely agree. I definitely think, like you said, persistency and being consistent is so important, because a lot of businesses can plateau when they think, oh, I'm doing really good, and they don't. They kind of like get comfortable and just stop. But it's important to, keep going, be consistent on social media, like you said, in your local community, and just keep spreading your business, because there's always room to grow, and definitely with your business as well. And like we're talking about your new business venture, where do you really see Rewire Your Workplace going?
I think it can really help companies that their main focus is employees' well-being. I think if you really care about your team and you want everyone to be on the same page, you have to show people that you care about their physical and mental health. I think that's bigger now than ever, especially after COVID. Employee retention is huge. Just kind of decreasing workman's comp is huge. With a lot of, like, I used to work moving companies. I used to work on trucks and stuff like that. So we create like warm-up routines for those guys before they get out on their moves, or we say, hey, if you're working out in the sun in Florida, here's how you should fuel yourself from a nutrition standpoint, people like that. And then desk workers, a lot of times we do things that are stress reduction techniques, and then every 2 to 3 hours, here's a routine you can do at your desk to decrease stiffness and soreness. Things like that are very helpful as well. So I think there's a lot of different companies we can help, but it really depends on the boss really wanting the team to thrive as a whole.
And for any business owners that are listening to this and are definitely interested in Rewire Workplace, how can they contact you and, be involved in this business venture?
So I'm sure we can attach the website link, but it's Get Rewired Today. That has my email and my phone number on it. We do free phone consultations with everyone for 15 minutes, and we just kind of talk through whatever they need help with. So I think that's very helpful. Always call the number that's on the website. Just leave a message, or you can send it a text as well, and we'll get back to you and just help you with whatever we can.
And for anyone listening to this that is a business owner, what is, a really good piece of advice you want to give someone when starting their own business?
I think the most helpful thing I would say is probably write in a journal, and just keep one with you. I journal pretty much every day and night, and I just kind of, in the morning, I always say write about your perspective, and then in the afternoon, write about reflecting and accepting. So in the morning, you really kind of say, like, here's what I'm trying to get done today. Here's how I'm trying to do good work. And at the end of the day, you look at what you did, where you can improve, accept where you are, and kind of call it a day. I think you got to turn the switch on and off at times, which is really important. I think that kind of journaling helps you start the day off and wrap it up whenever you need to.
Yeah, I love that, turning the switch on and off. I do think that's where a lot of people struggle. And I think a lot of people, especially that work from home, struggle with that because, it's not really like you're separating your work life from your home life. It's kind of all intertwined. Some people don't have desks. And what's, some other advice you can give on really the ways to turn yourself on and off?
I think if you're working from home, I think finding a coffee shop or something like that is huge, just to kind of separate. I would never do work in the bedroom, because that's really just where you're supposed to sleep and get rest at. But I think you should have a designed place for work. I don't think you should work on your couch and then in your bed and then in something. You should have a designed space that's for work. So when you get there, you know that it's work time, and when you get out, you know that it's not work time. So I think really specializing a place for work is huge.
And I want to ask, how long has Rewire been a company?
So this would be about 20 months now, because it was January of 2021 that we opened. So we're moving along pretty well now.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
And how was that, starting your business right after COVID?
It was tough at first. Like I said, I started in my house, and I live in an apartment complex, so I was having people come up to the gate and push the code in, parking visitors parking, and it was very hard at first. Just I wasn't really comfortable doing that, and it really pushed me to kind of get out there and talk to more people and kind of show people who I really was, because I knew that they were coming to my house. I've actually only been full-time since March, and now we have our new location, which is inside of the Gold's Gym in Tampa. But starting out, it was very hard, and just trying to figure out, like, sometimes I would do a great pitch and I would have someone that was all ready to come, and they would be like, oh, so where's your office at? And I would be like, it's in my house, which could kind of turn people off, especially gym owners and things like that. They didn't want to send people to someone's house. It just didn't feel as professional. So I think that was hard at first, but I think it was a great learning experience. And I think I met some awesome clients through that experience that I've always stayed in touch with, and we still text kind of on a weekly basis and just check in with each other. That was a really cool part of it, to be honest.
And, I think a lot of people do start off in their homes, and that's super normal. But how does it feel now having like your own space away from your home?
It's awesome. I'm at a Gold's Gym off of Waters in Dale Mabry. and it's a 2-story gym. It's really nice. We have our own room that's 1,700 square feet. We have an infrared sauna in here. There's cryotherapy in here. So we get a lot of private stuff going at first. We keep people in, and then we can actually bring people into the gym and teach them how to lift weights and do things properly, which is really cool because we have everything that we need here, and it's been a great location for us so far.
That's awesome. So did you have that collaboration with Gold's Gym? How does that work?
No, so when I left Salis full time, I was really just trying to find a gym to work out of, and Gold's is actually right next to my house. So one day I was just kind of walking, taking a walk, and I walked in and I was talking to this lady at the front desk, and I was just trying to exchange information or something, and she was like rubbing her shoulder or something, and I was like, "What's going on with your shoulder?" And we started talking, and I was like, "Well, I'm a physical therapist," and she ended up saying she was the manager at Gold's, and I was like, "Well, let me do a session with you. I'll bring my table over and everything like that." So I think the next day at like 7 a.m., I brought my table over and just did a session with her, and she was like, "Wow, that was really awesome. It helped. My shoulder feels way better, and I want to continue working with you." And I just kind of kept talking to people here, and they were like, "Well, why don't you end up trying to get this room? We don't really have anyone in this room upstairs. We could work something out, and you could put an office up in there." So it just ended up working out perfect, honestly.
That's amazing. And do you find that a lot in your career, talking to someone? And obviously, you don't want to like sell everyone you talk to, but if you see someone's having an issue, like it's just so important because you really never know who you're talking to. Obviously, that woman was the manager, like you would have never known. So, how important do you think that is to, anyone you talk to really mention your business and what you do?
Um, I think it's important, but I think really the important thing is just trying to see how you can help people. If people are asking for help, I think that you should go out of your way to help them. I don't think that you should really force your business on people, and that may be an area that I struggle with sometimes. I'm not always really up in people's face, or I don't set up a lot of booths in front of gyms and say like, "Hey, I'm this, that, and that," because I know a lot of people are just trying to go to the gym and they kind of give me the, "Hey, all right, keep walking." But when I see someone that's having a problem or someone that wants help, I do always kind of go out of my way and just try to give them a little bit of information. I'll send people YouTube videos or text messages and just say like, "Hey, here's something I think may help you." And a lot of times 2 months later, they send me something, "Hey, I want to come in and check this out." So I think just being helpful has really kind of been helpful for me, honestly.
Definitely. And I want to ask how you use social media in your business. So, what platforms first is Rewire on?
So Rewire's on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We have our website now, and we just started our LinkedIn. So we're getting there. Social media hasn't always been my strong suit. My girlfriend has been awesome with helping me kind of run everything and do all of that. She does Canva and makes my posts and things like that for me. We really target a lot of our athletes and active adults on Instagram, where I think our LinkedIn will be more targeted towards our Rewire Your Workplace audience.
Yes, and I think that's a great idea. And what are the best resources that have really helped you along the way? Like, what platforms have really worked the best for you in getting new clients?
I think Instagram has been very helpful. I think just kind of figuring out like the reels were pretty big. I think word of mouth has really helped me more than any social media, but I think that just developing social proof is huge because someone will say like, "Hey, you should check this place out," and the first thing people do is put it on Instagram and then check who tagged it or things like that. I think Facebook will be helpful, but like I said, I'm not the best at running the social media yet. So we'll keep improving on that. I think that'll be helpful, and I think LinkedIn's going to be very big for us with the business stuff as well.
Definitely. And how important are referrals to your business? And how do you encourage your customers to either refer clients or leave reviews and, really help you in that social proof?
Word of mouth and referrals is huge. I mean, that's really what I would say 90% of our business comes off of at this point. I always tell people if they refer me someone and they end up buying a package, I give them a free session. It really does mean a lot to us to get new people in the door, and I'm very thankful for people that do that. But I really want people to only refer to me if they have worked with me most of the time. I just think it's important that people are saying things out of an honest experience instead of just saying, "Hey, go see this guy. I heard he's good." A lot of times people that have seen me will refer me 2, 3 people, and it's really helpful. So they end up getting a couple free sessions, which is great for them as well.
And what are your plans for the future for Rewire?
I think we are launching I guess you're really going to be the first person to hear this, but we're going to be launching an MMA strength and conditioning program, which I think will be very helpful for MMA athletes because a lot of them are just doing a lot of road work and they're just jump roping and doing push-ups and stuff like that. So I think getting more specialized training for them will be big. Obviously, the Rewire Your Workplace will be big. And then I think just kind of incorporating ourselves more into the Gold's Gym and working with some of the new trainers here and helping people out here is really big for us as well.
Definitely. And last question, what's the biggest takeaway that you hope our listeners learn from this podcast?
I think it's just to be honest with yourself and ask people when you need help. Like I've worked with Providence, I've worked with Shift MMA, I've worked with Martin Brown, who's one of my coaches there. And a lot of times I just say like, hey, I'm struggling. I don't really know what to do here. This is really hard for me. And they just give me honest feedback and it gives me something to work off of. You really can't do business by yourself, even if you're the only person in the business. There's a million people I can say thank you to, but I think really just using your resources and being honest with the people around you, and then just telling them thank you and really writing them letters or whatever it may be, telling them how much that means to you is really big. Just really appreciating the network that you already have before trying to just grow it to everyone else.
Charlie, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I just want to, run through the important topics that we've talked about today and remind our audience again, this is Dr. Charlie Keenan, the founder of Rewire Total Body Experience. We talked about how important it is to be involved in your local community, especially as a physical therapist. And Charlie uses workshops and really finds places that fit his niche to be involved in his local community. We talked about how there's always more room for learning and how it's so important to utilize business coaches and online courses. We talked about having persistency and consistency skills when being a business owner and how that will help you scale your business, staying consistent. We also talked about how journaling can really help you be able to turn yourself on and off and, really have that balance between work life and personal life. And just the importance of seeing how you can help people and social proof, having that social proof by having people leave reviews, word of mouth, and being able to really prove yourself both in person and online and social media. So Charlie, will you tell our listeners where everyone can find you on social media as well as your business?
Yeah, you can find us online at getrewiredtoday.com. Our Instagram is rewire_TBE. Our Facebook is Get Rewired Today as well. LinkedIn is just going to be Rewire Total Body Experience. You can find me on my personal page at Chuck Keenan. So that's on my Instagram. But feel free to get in contact with me with any questions you have and hop on that free phone call, and we'll help you guys however we can.
And Charlie, thank you so much. And for our listeners, you guys can find us at GenTech Marketing, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you so much.